Hello, folks. This is Steve AB4L. I want to show you what I was looking at just a few minutes ago. I really think the web and the search engines can be a lot of fun. Now, I decided to see what the latest news in Israel is today. I usually check on the security situation in Israel at least 3 or 4 times a week. And that's because I was in Israel for a total of 4 years, including one war, the Yom Kippur War of 1973. So I decided to look at the Jerusalem Post. Now, way back between my trips to Israel, I used to subscribe to the airmail edition of the Jerusalem Post, which would come out once a week and would be a collage of what they thought was the news of the week. Now, I'm not promoting anything, I'm not recommending anything, I'm just telling you. So I decided to look at the front page. Thousands of recruits from all over the world joined IDF, Israel Defense Force, combat units this summer. 478 of the new soldiers are recent immigrants, the majority of whom are lone soldiers. That means they came by themselves. I'll give you an example. When I went back in November 1971, after a short while, they gave me, on the kibbutz, they gave me a roommate from Ethiopia. He was a lone soldier. He was already there, immigrated, like this, serving in the army. And the kibbutz was part of a program where, well, if you're from Ethiopia, where do you go on the weekend? So they would give them a weekend home at the kibbutz. So that was a person I roomed with. I only saw him on the weekends. I don't remember his name. He told me that his father was an admiral in the Ethiopian Navy of Emperor Haile Selassie. So anyway, I'm scrolling down. And then I came back up and I noticed over here on the right-hand side, breaking news. 15 Israelis lightly injured. 15 Israelis lightly injured in minibus collision near Netanya. Now that's what caught my eye. Because that's Netanya and Hadera were the two towns closest to where I spent a majority of my time in Israel. The Sharon Plain, Had HaSharon. 15 people were slightly to moderately injured in an accident between two minibuses on Route 4 near Netanya on Monday morning. You see, it's 1:45 a.m. Monday. It's already Monday in Israel, right? According to a statement from Israel's Fire and Rescue Authority, Magen David Adom, think of EMS. First responders administered medical treatment, evacuated them, and then they named 3 different hospitals. See, there's enough people, you can't send them to one hospital. So they sent them to one in Netanya, another hospital in Kfar Saba, and another one in Hadera. I used to go to the Beit Holim health clinic, medical clinic in Hadera. So the thing is, it kind of, I wonder which is Route 4. Now let me show you something. I'm in North Carolina. Now, if I say US 64, you know there's a Wikipedia article about it. But out here is also Route 42, North Carolina Route 42, Highway 42. North Carolina Highway 42. Now look, this is a Wikipedia article. I have other tabs set up, but I intentionally did not look because I already knew it was there. Some years back, I was surprised one day to discover that if you say North Carolina Highway 42, there's a Wikipedia article about it. And there's the route. And what do we see about the red line? It starts in Asheboro. Oh, look at that. The beginning of it is here, and I can tell you by the shape of those roads, that's Asheboro right there. And it goes all the way up here. Okay? Now, you say, well, you're just picking on Route 42. Let me do that again, but I'm going to change it to 49. Because 49 runs through Asheboro also. State Highway 49, North Carolina. It's got an article, and oh, look, Asheboro's right there. They spell it out. I've never looked at this before. It runs through Asheboro. That's exactly right. 42 and 49. Got it? Now, why am I showing you that? Well, I told you a couple of years ago when I discovered that accidentally, because the Google search engine kind of brought it to me. I was highlighting something in a text somewhere. Watch what happens here. If I highlight Route 4 Netanya, Israel, I don't even say Israel. Netanya is in Israel. There's a Wikipedia article. Highway 4, Israel. Highway 4, the Hebrew is Kavish Arba. Kavish means road or street. Arba is 4. Is an Israeli highway that runs along Israel's entire coastal plain on the Mediterranean Sea. From Rosh Hanikra, that's with the border of Lebanon, crossing with Lebanon in the north to Erez border crossing at the Gaza Strip. Now, I'm going to come back. I didn't look at this. The highway follows in part the route of ancient Via Maris. Now, when you say Via Maris, you're talking about Roman times, 2,000 years ago. That's where we get the word Palestine. The Romans were honoring the Philistines. What do Arab Palestinians, how do they say that in Arabic? Philistinum. There is no P sound in Arabic. Philistinum. They're not Palestinians. They're Philistines. You should say that. Philistines. You've heard of them. Samson did something to them. Okay. So there's a map. Let me show you the map. Just like we were looking at, right? But now this is in Israel. Now here's the question that immediately came to my mind. When I used to be in the Netanya Hadera era, and I needed to go to Tel Aviv, I would walk out to the highway, and I would stand at a bus kiosk, and I would catch the bus like to Haifa or I'd catch the bus to go to Tel Aviv. I know that since I was in Israel, which was 50 years ago, that they built another bigger, better highway north-south, in a sense superseding the highway I used to be on. So the question in my mind when I read that, are they referring to the one that I used to use, or are they talking about the new one? And I'm guessing that Route 2 is the new one. But we wouldn't be able to tell from this map, would we? It's not. Oh, wait a minute, let's scale it up. Oh, there you go. I'll bet you we can tell. You see Netanya here? You see Tulkarm here? You'd never want to be alone in Tulkarm. At least when I was there. You see this one here? I'm guessing. You see this one here? I'll bet that's the new Route 2. So this is probably the one. So, for example, when I used to go to Netanya, I didn't have a car. I'd walk out to the highway, I'd wait for the bus, and I would go to Beit Lee Junction. And then I would catch a different bus that was going this way, east-west, on that road, into Netanya. And the transfer point would be at Beit Lee. At least that's what it was called then. So let's explore. I then scroll down, and here's a heading, Major Junctions. At the south, this is the south end. I've been to Yad Mordechai. That's near the Gaza Strip. That's very famous. I've actually been on Yad Mordechai, a kibbutz, visiting somebody. So I've been to Ashdod interchange. That's a seaport city. And I'm going down here and I'm noticing they don't have, but then I see Nahal Hadera, but I see this, Hasharon Junction, and then in parentheses, they give the name that it used to be known by, Beit Lee. And I know there's this memorial now, it wasn't there then, at Beit Lee. The memorial is honor of the soldiers who were standing at the Beit Lee Junction, hitchhiking, going to duty or coming from active duty, going home for a weekend, whatever, standing at that junction just like I would, get off the bus at Beit Lee and catch another bus into town, Netanya, or the reverse, but they're standing there trying to catch rides, and a Philistine murdered them all. Suicide bomber. Murdered them. Just because they were hitchhiking home or hitchhiking to active duty. Aren't Philistines wonderful people? The Hasharon Junction, commonly known as Beit Lee Junction, is a keyed road junction in. So they have, but the thing is, this is Israel, and look at, there's Wikipedia articles about it. So let's go to that page. This article does not cite any sources. Please improve this article by adding citations to reliable. The Hasharon Junction, Tzumat Hasharon, commonly known as Beit Lee Junction, which is how I knew it, is a key road junction in the Sharon, not Sharon. Rose of Sharon is the plant, Sharon region of Israel. It intersects Highway 4 and Highway 57. I'll bet Highway 57 is the one that goes from Netanya to Tulkarm. Well, it would have gone from Netanya to the border but you couldn't just cross into Tulkarm before 1967. That was occupied West Bank, occupied by the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Just as Jerusalem was divided into two cities, there was the Israeli Jerusalem, and then there was the old city, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan occupied old city. The junction serves as a large transport hub for dozens of Egged. Egged is the cooperative of buses that I used to ride, and Kavim buses. I don't. That may be a newer company. Everybody in Israel knows what an Egged bus is. Oh, wait a minute. The junction was the scene of the Beit Lead suicide bombing in 1995 by Philistine Islamic Jihad. Islamic Jihad. It is planned that in the future a large interchange will replace the current intersection. It will be located slightly north of the existing junction along a new alignment of Highway 57. Now that almost tells us that the east-west one is 57, which will be shifted to the north. The following bus stops at Beit Lead Junction. Now look at what kind of info. I haven't read this article before. What did I tell you the most important function for people like me and young soldiers was at the Beit Lead Junction? Bus transfer, catching rides. The following bus stops at Beit Lead Junction. The junction itself does not have routes using it as a starting or ending station. No, it's a crossroad. You can get, and what bus did I used to take when I went to Tel Aviv? 921, right there. Tel Aviv, CBS, Central Bus Station, Tachana Merkazit. Haifa Hofa Carmel Central Bus Station to Tel Aviv. Correct. Occasionally when I would go by bus to Haifa, I would still take the 921. So it is the road that I used to use. These are the Egged lines. I don't know about this others. Oh, all right. So will you let me show you Beit Lead? Oh, there's a Wikipedia article about the Beit Lead suicide bombing. Wait a minute. Can you see the picture there? The Beit Lead suicide bombing, also known as the Beit Lead massacre, was a double suicide attack by the Philistine Islamic Jihad against Israeli soldiers at the Beit Lead Junction on January 22, 1995. They used military-grade TNT surrounded by nails. What good neighbors to have. Beit Lead Junction is a well-known waypoint towards Netanya. Strategically, it's an important crossroads between Tel Aviv and Haifa, located in Highway 4. On Sunday mornings, Beit Lead was Sunday. Yom Rishon is the first day of the week. Yom Shabbat is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. I'm saying that to you in case you get confused, because here Christians take Sunday as the Sabbath, right? So Sunday is the first day of commercial activity and regular life in Israel. Beit Lead was swamped with thousands of young soldiers and aging reservists. When I was there, reservists served until age 45, 1 month each year. Why would you need to do that? Oh, because of the Philistine neighbors and their nail bombs and other things. Now, this is interesting. It doesn't have a link. I'm going to show it to you. I'm glad I stopped here. Ashmoret Prison is located at the southwest corner, that's correct, of the Beit Junction. At the time of the bottom, Ahmed Yassin, founder of Hamas, was being held there. And that fits in with what was true when I was there. Remember, this was 1995. Now let me explain. No, I want the map. Here we go. This will take me there. Okay. Hasharon Junction, otherwise known as Beit. There's 57 going east-west. And here's Route 4. And if we squeeze it down a bit, can we get a route number over here? Yeah, that's Route 2. That's the new one. Okay. See, I've been to Rupin. Now let's go right in on here. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look at it with satellite view, and I'm going to remind you of something. You see what it says here? Ashmoret Penitentiary. You see the picture? Oh, look at how blurred out it is. I'll remind you again. Israel has a requirement with people like Google that you blur the details of Israel satellite views. Why? Oh, is it because countries like Iraq and Iran and a lot of other countries claim they're just going to destroy Israel. They're going to fire rockets there. They're going to do anything they can to kill them all. If you think that's an exaggeration, go check. Well, just go look it up. They say it every week. The Iranians do. They say they have hypersonic missiles that can destroy Israel. That's a new development. So why don't we, and you see how the busting there, that wasn't there. So there's some road improvements since I was there. Let's take a street view. Now, you see this building over here? That's the penitentiary they're talking about. And we're looking at it as though we're a soldier standing on the side of the road. You see that direction down there is Kfar Yonah, and you see there's a little place to stand here, and there's a place to stand here. That's where the soldiers were standing. See, and each of them is a particular bus stop, and we can see somebody sitting there. Now, that pull-off didn't exist when I left Israel in 1974. So that's a new addition. It was just a gravel pull-off, a rough stop, and the soldiers were standing along here. But that's not 1995. But let's look across the road to the other side. I'm going to give you a little history that's not in the encyclopedia, in the Wikipedia. That used to be an Israeli women's prison for minor offenders. It was more like barbed wire around a camp. Think of a summer camp and the kind of buildings you would have in a summer camp. It was a low security women's detention center before 1967. Now, why did it get converted? Because, as happened when I was there, terrorists coming in from Syria and Jordan by way of the West Bank, coming across the Jordan River and infiltrating into Israel to murder people, the Philistines, used to be captured, and they were capturing a lot of them. And so they need to requisition existing space in order to put them someplace. And they built, now this is even more expanded than when I was there. You see the concrete walls and the guard tower and all that? That wasn't originally there when I was there in 1967 to 8. So that was for high notorious terrorists. They kicked the women out. We don't have room for you anymore. I'm not kidding. The road is also wider, at least at this part. My recollection is that in this road junction, they've made it wider. It carries a lot of traffic, doesn't it? You can see it. We don't know what time of day this is. Oh, there you go. See the courtesy? Kfar Yona is an Israeli settlement. Tulkarm. Now, wait a minute. Were you listening to me when I told you that when I was there, if you stood in the middle and you looked up on the hill, see, at that point in Israel, the old border before Israel with Jordan and the sea was less than 10 miles. The narrow point, the invasion route, all along right there. If you're going to invade, why not pick a place where you can drive to the sea? Think about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and the maps. But you notice that there's a formal map. There's actually a sign here where it says you can go to Tulkarm. Not when I was there, but apparently you can now. Oh, Hebrew, Arabic, and Latin letters. So am I familiar with this road junction? Oh, I almost wouldn't recognize it today. I admit it. Let's see how it looks when we jump to the other side. Yeah, this was still agricultural fields, and that's still agricultural fields, just like it was back then. But what they're saying is they're going to move this east-west road a little further north. They'll keep this. And there's the prison there, and there are all the bus stops. You notice they're not on this side. Let's see if there's any on this side. There won't be any. Everything operated at that place over there, which made it a prime target for the friendly people from the West Bank, the Philistine neighbors. See how flat it is on Hof HaSharon, the coastal plain? Don't you expect the coastal plain to be more or less flat? In North Carolina it is. So it just started with me looking at the Jerusalem Post, and I saw this article here of Slug, and I went and looked at it, and then I thought, is it the new route or is it the old route? And you saw what the traffic looks like, so you can understand how they can have an accident. They have a lot of road accidents in Israel. An extremely close friend of mine, my kibbutz mother, my first kibbutz mother, died in a road accident. It still hurts my heart. Yafa was an incredible woman. And it took me back to the Beit Lee Junction. Steve A.B. Foriel, kind of reminiscing a little bit, but surprised that even local route numbered roads in Israel have Wikipedia articles, just like local North Carolina routes have Wikipedia articles saying, see you in 73.